Ladies and gentlemen, the Acting Secretary of the Army.
Good morning. For more than 1,000 years, the ancient Romans celebrated the military achievements of their best soldiers with something known as a triumph. A triumph was a public celebration of epic proportion: trumpeters, parades, games, and festivals. The celebrated soldier rode in a 4-horse chariot through the streets of Rome in procession with his army, captives, and the spoils of his war. Flo, I'm not sure what the motor pool arrived with this morning picking you up today, but I'm guessing it was our modern version of a chariot, a minivan. And for that, I apologize. Regardless, it's great to see you again. To everyone here, welcome. This, too, is a great celebration. It is a great moment for America and for our Army. Mr. Secretary, thank you for being here. General Milley, Sergeant Major Daly, Medal of Honor recipients, thank you all for your presence as well. And Carson, Flo's amazing girlfriend, my former neighbor, welcome. Keep in mind I'm saying this about a Medal of Honor recipient, but Flo, you are dating up. And a special welcome to Flo's brothers and sisters in arms and the families of the fallen, the Gold Star families here today. It speaks to the strength of the bond you share that so many of you are here to join in this moment with your teammate and friend. Flo, I am honored to be a part of your celebration, this well-deserved triumph. I am also in awe that despite your extraordinary honors and accolades, you continue to display deep humility and never forget to express deep gratitude for those you served alongside. In or out of uniform, you continue to do our Army proud. Celebrations like these are important to our nation and to the Army because they act as an outlet for the pride and admiration shared by so many. They provide us a chance to reaffirm the basic values that the military, as a profession of arms, holds so dear. They also serve as a reminder to those whose freedoms are defended that each and every day, in more than 150 locations around the world, often unseen and usually unsung, the men and women of the United States Army, alongside their Marine, Air Force, and Navy brethren and sisters, are always on point, demonstrating their devotion to serving causes greater than themselves and to carrying out America's commitment to peace and security across the world. These soldiers do these things not for glory, not for empire, not for treasure, not even for personal triumph, but because they are the right things, the difficult things that must be done. Like the brothers in arms who served and protected one another in Kannar province, like the soldiers who Flo selflessly sought to protect, they look out for one another because they know, like all Americans, that we are in this together. Our soldiers make choices based on deeply ingrained values, taught in basic training, fostered by education and time in service, and developed and demonstrated in combat. The Army values of loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. I thought about finding 7 stories to illustrate how Flo exemplifies each of these values, but he displayed them all simultaneously in one day, in one brief but decisive moment in Afghanistan 3 years ago. I've had the honor to spend time with Flo over these past few weeks, and because of that humility I've seen firsthand, I was not surprised when Flo expressed a set of conflicted emotion about today's celebration. Imagine, he said, being honored for the worst day of your life. Even though Flo and his team defeated the enemy that day, he lost, as he told me, 4 of his brothers: Command Sergeant Major Kevin Griffith, Major Thomas Kennedy, Major Walter Gray, and Regai Abdel Fattah. They are the true heroes, he said. They sacrificed everything for their country. That loss is deep, and it is real. The scarred silver bracelet on Flo's right wrist is a testament to his devotion. It's a reminder that soldiering is a family business. These men and women eat, sleep, train, and fight together, and tragically some make the ultimate sacrifice. Together, they are selflessly devoted to causes bigger than themselves. They are, in every sense of the phrase, brothers and sisters. Flo, I know you're conflicted about this day, but thank you for allowing us to honor you. I know that having some of the family members of the fallen here in the audience is both welcome and wonderful for Flo. Since returning from Afghanistan, he spent time with them, sharing in their grief, rejoicing in their memories, and living lives worthy of their sacrifice. I often ask myself where we find such men and women of unshakable personal courage and conviction. People with such loyalty and respect for one another and for their country that they volunteer to step out into a dark and dangerous world for the sake of others, for the values we believe in. How else can you explain what Flo did that day, his 8-second sprint into destiny? The answer is simple. They are the very essence of the American spirit found in every village, town, and city in this nation. They are the embodiment of the ideas and ideals that we as a people hold so dear. But they are unique and special people, as Flo's actions attest, that they would voluntarily stand up over and over again and say, "Send me," is a powerful reminder to us all. And selflessly stand up they do. For as Flo so simply but eloquently put it, if not me, then who? Men and women like this are not just in the Army, they are the Army. Thankfully for us, Flo came to this Army brimming with similar values instilled in him by his parents, Clara and Larry Groberg, whom I've also had the pleasure of getting to know. Thank you very much for being here today. Brigadier General Mingus, who's also here today, Flo's former commanding officer and one of the survivors of that awful day, said of him and his family, "The apple didn't fall far from the tree." Clara and Larry, thank you both for raising such a fine man. Today is your triumph as well. That Flo loves his Army and his teammates, there is no doubt. Since he was 9 years old, all he ever wanted to be was an American soldier, he said. A helper, a defender, a trusted and loyal teammate. He proved his mettle at places like Infantry Officer Basic Course, Mechanized Leaders Course, U.S. Army Airborne and U.S. Army Ranger Schools. His last test was as the Brigade Personal Security Detachment Commander for the 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team, 4th Infantry Division. Brigadier General Mingus handpicked him for this post. Looking back, the very best times of his life, he said, were when he was on deployment with his soldiers. They knew they were making a difference in this world, and they were doing it together. And while Flo's dream of one day commanding an infantry rifle company will not come to pass, thankfully for us, he will continue to serve his country in a new civilian role here at the Pentagon. As it has been said, there are many ways to serve, but guiding us is the same spirit. Or as Flo put it, I'm on the same journey, I just got on a different boat. Flo, Captain Groberg, thank you for your journey. Thank you for living out the Army's values. Thank you for your honorable service. And thank you above all for taking care of your brothers and sisters.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chief of Staff of the Army.
Thank you all again for being here. Secretary Carter, thank you and for your words, and Secretary Fanning, those were remarkable as well, and thank you both, and leaders and general officers and family members and friends. Thanks all for being here to honor not only Flo, but his entire family and all his teammates, and those of the fallen and those of the survivors. Thanks all for being here. A word on his family. Flo, as has been mentioned, gets his character, his courage, as we all do, from our families and our teammates. In Flo's case, he comes from a long and distinguished line of combat veterans and heroes. Flo's grandfather served with the French Army in Vietnam, and then later joined in the Algerian quest for freedom in their independence. Flo's mother was the first woman commissioned in the Algerian military, and Flo's uncle was a commando in the Algerian military, murdered by terrorists not too long ago. And Flo's father, in his own quiet way, served his country in many, many places around the world. So I would like to acknowledge all of their family as well, and just give them another round of applause for all you've done. And joining us today is a distinguished group of other Medal of Honor winners. Amongst them is retired Lieutenant General Foley, and if we can point him out somewhere, I'm not sure where you're at, General Foley. There you are. We can just... General Foley earned his Medal of Honor in 1966 near Quang Dao Tieng in Vietnam, leading a rifle company of the 27th Infantry Wolfhounds. And thanks, sir, for being here, and we appreciate that. You know, Captain Groberg is a representation of all that is best in all of our soldiers. As pointed out, he's humble, he has deep humility, he's trustworthy, and he's a selfless person, and one who earns all of our respect, not by wearing the uniform per se, but through his demonstration of dedication to our profession and fellow soldiers that really epitomizes the warrior ethos and the Army values that Secretary Fanning just pointed out. And he and his teammates that served with him in the 4th Infantry Division and others from other units, such as the 502nd out of the 101st, they are really the strength that is our Army and the strength that's our nation. And their commitment and their courage to fight for a cause greater than themselves, to fight for the ideals of our nation. It's evident in all of our soldiers, and we are proud to be among them today. Captain Groberg never quit, and when facing grave danger, he put the mission first, and he never, ever accepted defeat and never once thought of himself. Today, he thinks of his fallen comrades. He has been there for the living, and he's there today also for those who passed. He's there for them yesterday, and he will be there for you forever. And for the families of the fallen on that day, this is a special day of remembrance, a special day to honor Captain Groberg and the other members, a special day to honor your fallen loved ones. There is no words that I or anyone else can ever express except to say thank you for their sacrifice. Also among us today are surviving members of that day from the 4th Division, from the 101st, and from other units. And if you were there that day that Captain Groberg earned the Medal of Honor, I'd like you to please stand to be recognized. As President Obama said yesterday, Captain Groberg trained all his life for the Army and for this day. And because of flow, winning matters, and he learned to win at the University of Maryland and in high school and from his family. And he learned in college track how to win. And on that day, on the 8th of August, 2012, winning is exactly what Flo did. Just a month after Flo pinned on the rank of captain, and 6 months into his second deployment into Afghanistan. It was a day not much different than any other day. On that day, lives would be changed forever as 28 Coalition and Afghan National Army personnel, their families, and their friends would find out. But it was also a day of courage, of leadership, and of commitment to protecting and defending those who serve together. If you close your eyes and you can imagine that you're in the Hindu Kush, you receive an op order as a personal security detachment to go out and escort 2 brigade commanders on a meeting with a local governor. You put on your kit, you do your pre-combat inspections, and you move forward to a couple of UH-60s. You load the UH-60s, the rotors are turning, and you take off. And you land on an LZ. You exit under the rotor wash, you get off the aircraft, you make a dash, take a knee,